It seems fitting that a plane should open this episode. There we go. Some things never change. What's next? Last thing really before we lower the cab down is to cap these. So, next job. We are officially capped. One side done and other side done. Game on. So we are onto those flat pieces that we're going to put in there, so it'll be easy to mount to that front A-pillar area. And by the power invested in me, I shall turn this sudden basket food delivery box into welded steel. Game on. So, good A-pillar kickboard situation there. Plenty to mount to. Got some good earths for the loom that's going to go there. Game on. All seam welded and plug welded on that side. So we shall now sit her down and get her on axle stands. Get her off the crane and start to jiggery pokery massage and measure. Measurement wise, this is definitely more difficult than a Vic for positioning the cab itself, because obviously my vertical cuts there aren't surgeon like, you know, there was no real measurement taken on those vertical cuts, so I can't use the A-pillar width, those gaps, as a width measurement. So what I'm going to, and then the front panel itself, the firewall itself is just very different on both sides, so that's out for cab position. The sills aren't parallel on the 53, but they are on the Mountaineer, which is awesome. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do it mainly by measurement front and back, A-pillar and B-pillar into the actual Mountaineer sill, and then that bracket there to something that's dropped vertically from the back of the cab, and I think that's going to get me super duper duper close for positioning of the cab. So we've lowered it down right now, and the front of the sill pretty close, pretty level. The back is still high. Now I was going to try and put it on jack stands, but the repair panels are fairly flimsy and I'm getting flex, and I don't want any flex when I am obviously positioning the actual cab itself. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some box section down there to strengthen this lip, and then I'm going to have a real strong place to put a axle stand and it's not going to move. And likewise, what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to create like a half moon situation there at the bottom of the lip to create just a little bit of triangulated strength, so the cab won't move and the panels won't flex when I start to get her in place. So yeah, so we'll have a little bit of fiddling tomorrow, but we're getting closer. Definitely getting closer. It is time for the deep breath. All measurements are within a mil. The cab is shimmed perfectly level with the sill area. Measurements the same. Measurements the same. Front of sill to like bottom of A-pillar. Yeah. This side, everything's level. The truck itself is level. Coming off the sills level. Measurement B-pillar, A-pillar, all the same. I think the time has come, so I'm going to do some box section in between there. I think I'm going to create a temporary mount here from the chassis leg up to the back of the truck after I've done these pieces here, and then it'll be making a filler panel for that area there. Well, yeah, deep breath time. Welding and cutting is about to start. There we go. So the three box sections that are forming the sill mounts, or the inner sill mounts are just tacked right now. Came on, so we're going to leave that there. I'm going to do a temporary rear mount triangulated here next, and then going to do some sort of temporary mount, probably center front, and then pretty much all the angles are kind of covered. I want it supported at all the corners, and then we can offer the doors up and hope and pray they still fit. Losing a little bit of light here, but I just wanted to show you kind of the inside. So as I said before, the sill is running parallel with the Mountaineer sill, and that kind of gives you an idea of the position. You can see the HVAC, but you kind of know vehicles anyway. Chop that section out of there because that's exactly where the Mountaineer steering column is going to come through. Unfortunately, I now know it will make some people unhappy, but had to be done. Yeah. And the seat mount, that's the rear seat mount bolt there, so plenty of room behind. So there should be a decent seating position, plenty of room, and AC. Happy days indeed. You know what, there is a little bit of happiness in me actually getting my garage back as well. Finally, the engine crane, cab lifter goes back into its place. The tools that were all piled up there are now slowly making their way back into my toolboxes and stuff, and I can actually walk into my garage. That is a luxury I haven't had in about a month. And I tell you what, it really got to me. It just got to me because I didn't want to be here. So that's better. A little bit of space, and as we start to bolt stuff back onto this old girl, a little more space in there. So that's it. So one thing I didn't say was, although I've seam welded those 3 pieces of box section on each side, if it all is not going to work, I can just chop through those with a Sawzall, and it's, you know, fairly quick to take the cab back off. So look, it's probably the first time in forever that the 53's ever been on decent suspension. There's a bit of movement. It is as one though, so I'm going to end this episode here because it's a super high, and I'm going to be super nervous when I'm trying to fit the doors and hoping they're fit. So this is awesome, and I shall see you on the next one. Happy days.